Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network for tonight's action from Rockingham for the GoldenBrew 125. Joining me in the booth tonight, as always, is Dave Huckleberry, who helps keep everybody ADRN in line, and Jacob Adams up here also doing some race control duties. Should be a great race. We're here in the playoffs. I believe this is the start of the next round. You see the track there, just under a mile. Got it right here in North Carolina. High tire wear. We'll go a little while on fuel, but you're going to want tires way before then. Jake, what are you hoping we see tonight? What are you expecting us to see tonight?
Well, you mentioned it. It's the start of a new round in the playoffs, so everybody kind of has a brand new slate coming in with the points. They know exactly where they're at and what they got to do, and hopefully everybody has a clean race and we don't have too many cautions, and see what the tire fall-off is going to do.
Yeah, that tire fall off is going to be quite large here. It's this place is just the same as Darlington here, where you're going to just chew those tires up, spin them out. Some guys down here that are going to be below this cut line. Justin Wadsworth's going to need to have a good night. Tommy Ryan, Jared Rexing. These guys need to have great nights. Try to create, jump that gap a little bit or win and get in. Scott Crump, Ethan Burrell, Weeks. They're real tight on points. Fody just needs a solid round. Doesn't need anything great. Stanley needs a solid round, and Cutlip needs also. Just those three guys have kind of separated from everybody else, but those points can go away real quick and in a hurry if you have some trouble. But as we sit right here, Matthew Weeks, we talk about him just needing a good round. He needs a solid round. He's 16 out, so he is the cut line. Weeks is the cut line right here, 1 point ahead of Ethan Burrell. So great qualifying run there for him with Cutlip right beside him. Ethan Burrell. We got RC in fourth. We got the Pro Edge Invitational up here at the very front of this field. Scott Crump right there in fifth. Gavin Hibbs, Tommy Ryan, Tyler Fody, Gavin Higgins, and Ethan Stanley round out your top 10. Jared Rexing back there in 11th. Wadsworth all the way down in 14th. Not what he wants for his playoff hopes. And I believe that is the lowest qualified playoff guy, correct? Is Wadsworth there in 15th? And then we round out the field. Jeff Green is back there in 18th. We got Gerald Campbell. Cale Pocock, always good here at these high tire wear tracks. Going to start 20th. We'll see if he can make his way through. Johnny Thomas always seems to be around at these racetracks at the end. Joe Francis is back there. We got Seth Rawls, Josh Labonte all the way back there in 30th. We got Ultra back there. David Tooker did not make a lap time. It does not look like he's going to have to start all the way in the back. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Connor Thompson going to be all the way in the back as well. Of course, stages tonight are at lap 50 and 125 is the end of the race. So, stage points at lap 50. These boys are going to try real hard to get some stage points, get some good stuff. Jake, after seeing how this qualifying has shook out, knowing how this thing's going to race, we know a lot of what goes into being good here on high tire wear tracks, how to save your tires and whatnot. Who do you like to win this race tonight?
I'm going to pick somebody that I know is going to be good on Thursday, that's going to be looking to get some positive momentum for the Indy 500. I'm going to pick RC Anderson.
I don't know if there's two tracks that could be more different than Indianapolis and Rockingham. It's quite different on the spectrum there. And I think I'm going to pick somebody out here tonight who has done a really great job on these high tire wear tracks. Somebody who is going to have to win to get in. I'm going to take the guy starting 14th. I'm going to take Justin Wadsworth. He's going to get the job done. Last guy in the playoff right now. He's going to be my pick to win this thing. We'll see if he can hang a mission accomplished banner after this thing is over, but that is going to be my pick. You should take a look there at Gerald Campbell. They roll through 3 and 4, getting ready to get the green flag. Matthew Weeks out front with John Cutlip. We got a couple other teammates up there. The pace car is off, and green is out. Weeks. Oh, Cutlip with some wheel spin. It's going to hurt that outside line.
Well, there's one in the back. There's that Connor Thompson, I believe, that spun his tires, and that's probably a night done right there for the 30.
There's the 30 taking off. They head for turn number 3. Oh, and we got Ethan Burrell spinning up here at the front. He's going to save it. these Pro Edge guys are taking themselves out. They qualify in the first 4 spots. One spins the tires, one gets away sideways. And that's going to really hurt his opportunity at stage points in the first stage. There's the battle for the lead. Cutlip right back up onto the back end of Weeks. They run through 3 and 4. These things are going to take off pretty loose, but they will tighten up. You will see. Oh, Ethan Stanley hits the wall pretty hard off of turn 4. Right in front of his teammate Justin Wadsworth. Heavy contact into the outside wall there for Ethan Stanley. These playoff guys, they're really struggling here at the start of this race, Jake. You think they're feeling any of that pressure coming into this? Well, this will be the final round before the, gotta have a good round here to get to race for that title.
Yeah, this is probably, as we see Chad hard on the wall, gets down into Wadsworth. This is probably the most difficult track in the playoffs. So if it's not nerves, it's just simply how tough the track is.
I'll tell you, Justin's feeling pretty lucky there to get away from that as clean as he did. That could have very easily been real bad for Justin. And like you mentioned, how tough this track is. This is one of the toughest tracks to race. I would say this track is even tougher than Darlington as far as hitting your marks around here. It's real easy to overdrive, and you'll be overdriving and not realizing you're doing it until 15 laps into the run when you have nothing left for tires and you're 3/4 of a second slower than the field. You see Chad on the backslide now after that wall contact as we take a look here at Jared Rexing trying to move forward. I think Chad probably, the way he hit it there, Chad probably hurt that car. As Rexing tries to move forward on Gavin Higgins, he's got Stanley Wadsworth right there with him. And that 20, the outside lane just not there yet, or else that 20 would be up there, I'm sure, if it was. Oh, Jesse Racimus, head on into the wall, gets back straight. A late Norgard, real slow. The 3's in the wall here off of 4. I am not sure what. I think, is there oil on the racetrack somewhere? This 3 car's going to stop in turn 1. And we got a caution. It was the 3 coming to a stop there in turn 1. That brought the caution out. Not real sure what happened, but we have had a exciting opening 7 laps here. Taking a look here at the replay, they're trying to work that wall up there by the fence. He's just going to hit the fence. Oh, get into Dustin Dewar. And then it's just broke. It won't turn off the wall. And instead of coming on around, he just stops here. And then you're going to see the 30 go by, and that triggers the caution. Now, at this same point in time, something happened to the 70 off of 4 as well, where he got turned head on into the wall right out in front of this group. I don't know what happened, but he gets turned head on into the wall off of 4. Also, it's just hitting that wall. Just hitting that wall. Is this turn 4 wall closer than it's been in years past, Jake? Tell you what, he got lucky there. Chad got lucky there. These guys are not going to have the ability to pit every 7 to 9 laps. We don't have that many tires down here in the infield. Oh, a Leighton. Oh, Johnny gets some good nose damage there. I tell you, it has been an action-packed, exciting start here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get in one of our commercial breaks right here early in this race. Stick with us. We'll bring you live action from Rockingham on the other side of the break.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And welcome back to Rockingham, where we are getting ready for this restart. We had an exciting opening 6 or 7 laps. We're going to have an exciting race based on that. So now we're going to take off with these guys having some laps on their tires. Cutlip spun the tires on brand new tires, so it's going to be a big talking point tonight here that you're going to see a lot on these restarts on old tires. Green is out. They get away clean at the front. Much better start up there at the front. Much more cordial all the way through the field, I believe. All this action going on behind Cutlip, who gets away. Weeks gets in line. RC gets in line. Front 3 single filed out. Double wide back there between the 97 and the 66. Everybody trying to make their way down this front stretch, down into turn number 1. That battle is on for 4th. You got Hibbs, you got Tommy. Tommy's going to concede that spot. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Scott Crump. Down into 3. And they all single file out. Here comes Wadsworth looking on the top of that 10 of Jared Rexon. Trying to move his way forward. Outside will get better and better as the night goes on. Oh, you see Jeff Green with a little kiss of the wall right there behind him. Oh, Justin's going to hit the wall a little bit down into 1. We can't call it a stripe, right? That's Darlington. You got the Darlington stripe. What are we doing tonight? The Rockingham Kiss? What do you guys think? Does that sound pretty good? Now Jared still trying to make that bottom side work. Oh, something just happened to Gerald getting into turn 1. All kinds of smoke. Now he's Chad wide with Chad and the 9, and he backs out. Gerald just stops. And he is not happy about whatever took place. I don't know what happened, but Gerald wasn't too thrilled. Oh, is this going to be a little bit of a... Oh. That's a Chad kiss right there. And then they were Chad wide, and you're going to see Gerald he concedes. He says, I'm not getting wrecked. And he wasn't happy, so we'll have to see how that plays out later. Well, maybe right now, as he's right back. Here we go. Back together again. How much room does Chad give him? Not a whole lot of extra room. Maybe not any extra room. They're going to run real tight here off of 2. 2 guys who are not in the playoffs, who are frustrated about their season, and maybe even a little frustrated about what's going on here. Oh, another little bump there. Just watching this take place here. Gerald's going to get clear off of 2, I believe. And now Gerald looks like he's going to be giving the goodbye there to Chad. Here comes Ethan Burrell, going to look underneath Chad. It's going to split those guys apart, but we know Gerald was pretty hot. Gerald can get pretty hot. These cars are starting, I've got to think these guys are starting to feel a little bit tight, whether it's the tire wear, it's tightened them up, or they've hit the wall enough. I mean, I'm looking at through this field, half of them have right side. I mean, look at Chad's right front, all the way down his door. Good amount of damage there. And that right front damage will definitely tighten up your race car. Head for turn 3. Oh, contact! I think right now, Chad is one of those guys who I was talking about earlier that you can overdrive this racetrack and not know it until about 10 or 15 laps into a run when you're all of a sudden just in the way. Chad looks like those tires are shot. Here comes, I believe, is that Seth behind him? Looking for a way by. Ooh, Chad's going to get a little bit defensive there. They come off of turn number 2. I think if I'm Seth, I'm going to have to start looking for the outside here to get around Chad because you're starting to pile up behind him now. You got the 57 right there on his door, or on his rear, excuse me, not his door. Seth kind of opens up his entry. He's going to get a better exit here. Drives right to the back of Chad. Going to look to the bottom. Chad's going to try to shut the door. Now, for me, driver etiquette is when you shut the door on me like that, you're opening yourself up to contact. And as a driver, you do not like getting your nose chopped like that when you are clearly faster and you've backed off of this guy. You're trying to give him some space while trying to make the pass. And they've driven back to Gerald. We know these two have action. Gerald's got quite a bit of that right side damage as well. We know he's going to fight that 15.
Sorry, Chris, I had to get up and walk away for a few minutes. I got back and sat down to see this battle at the 15 and the 00. It's like, I feel like we've seen this before.
This battle's had a lot of contact. These guys are frustrated with each other. And
well, now we're looking 3 wide.
Chad on the apron just a little bit. Oh, who is that? Who's down? Is that Connor Thompson down against the inside wall?
Connor Thompson, yeah, we saw him, the drop of the green flag, spin his tires to have whatever issue he had.
I'm going to tell you what. We got a great battle for the lead here. But Chad and Gerald are going to find a way. I mean, you just can't keep doing what they're doing and holding people up and trying to prove who has the bigger kahunas down there. They're going to cause a big wreck. Like they gotta step back, take a breath, get to the pit stop, get their cars fixed, and give themselves a chance to win this thing at 125. Because what they're doing, they're really putting themselves in a tough spot right there in the middle of the field. So 66 has moved up the track, trying to pass the 50. We're seeing quite a bit of separation. I mean, you look back here, what is this, about 12 cars, 15 cars broke away. Everybody behind Chad and Gerald. I mean, look at this gap. And then the next group is where the Chad and Gerald roadblock is at.
See David Tooker coming in behind Gerald and Chad. Joined the session so late he didn't even get a qualifying run in, and he's made it up towards the top 15.
That is a huge gap for a mile and a half, or, well, a mile. You know, this place runs like a lot like a mile and a half, a little bit, you know, and that is a huge gap, and that we just saw the time in there. They are bleeding 3-4 tenths, half a second a lap. I mean, these guys are, these two have let everyone drive away from them because they're only seeing the other on the racetrack. There's nobody else out here but these two for them right now. They're frustrated with each other. They've made a lot of contact. Somehow haven't made enough to wreck yet, but these two guys are pretty frustrated with each other, and it's kind of clouding their judgment when you're talking about a 3-second gap to the next car.
Yeah, this isn't like what we saw last week at Talladega, where a bunch of cars can get lined up and go and catch this front pack. So basically, if there's no caution, they're kind of just where they're going to be at, and No points for this group back here because of this side-by-side battle. So it finally looks like Gerald might drive away a little bit from Chad. David Tooker's going to get in between the two.
I have no doubt that Tooker could start, at least matching lap times with the cars in front of him. But both of these guys are so used up, I don't think they can get away from each other. I think 00 pull away for a second, 15 to drive right back. They've swapped this spot. I mean, you got Josh Labonte out here showing some pace. Haven't seen that all year. He's right here behind this group. Tooker going to look to the outside of 3. He's going to be there. It's going to be real tight, and the 15 and 00 are going to bang doors. Tooker backed out.
And that would have been a big one right there. If David Tooker didn't decide to back out right there, probably would have taken out this whole group. But he decided to lift off and live to race another lap.
And I just heard something that was pretty funny in this lobby right here. Josh Labonte referred to what is going on between him and Tooker having to watch this battle, trying to make their way through it, as the final boss of battles.
Yeah, well, when you put 2 of the hardest guys in the series to pass, running side by side, it makes a recipe for almost impossible passes.
Chad drives him all the way up into the wall there. Gerald's not going to like this. These two.
Yeah, now we're in the territory where we might be seeing a wreck here coming. So
You should have seen the contact earlier. Chad just threw it in there, got into him. Oh. And the 00 gets turned. I mean, we knew that was coming. We could see that one coming. It was just a question of who was going to be wrecked, who was going to be involved. These two driving way hard, getting into each other. Josh Labonte gets up underneath him. 00 then just tries to come back down. The 15 was coming back down, and Double 0 and 15. They got to get that stuff figured out a little better than what they did there. But luckily, it was only a one-car wreck. So we saw all that live action. We're going to get pit stops. We're going to take that commercial break right here, finish it up, and maybe even hear a word from Blue Egg when we get back.
They walk among us, but at 240 miles per hour, they become something more. They're thrill seekers, risk takers, and maybe just a little bit unhinged. Buckle up. This new era of speed, this racing revolution, it's just getting started.
To win the Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Fueling big to win big. Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Ooh, ooh, big. To win big, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Ooh, win big.
And welcome back here to Rockingham, where we actually have Scott Crumple on 2 tires trying to win the stage. He's hoping for some cautions, because if they get green for, I don't know, half a lap, it's going to be downhill for Crump as far as the points situation. Green is out. They get away pretty solid for 2 tires. He's going to get clear down into 1. And he's going to create a little bit of a gap, a little better on 2 tires there than I thought he would be. He's way away. We'll see what the 4 tires look like down here versus the 2. We're wrecking in the back. The 25's around. He's going to save it on the apron. Blend back up into the racetrack. Scott Crump still sitting out there on his 2 tires. I feel like he's needing a caution though. And I don't know if he's going to get it. Jared Rexing runs into the wall off of turn 2. Matthew Weeks going to dig in, try to get this lead. Here comes Weeks with a big move to the bottom of the racetrack. They are racing for playoff points here in just a couple laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order by Scott to have to hold off another 8 or 9 laps or whatever to the end of 50. But he's going to try at least better his position.
Oh,
he's
and
hard
he's
in the wall. That's not going to help.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, we kind of said it, or I kind of said it there when we were taking off. Yeah, you gotta get some cautions. He's looking for some caution help. He didn't get it. And now it's just trying to hold on for some points here. That thing's really struggling. Getting into the wall is not going to help it.
We heard over the driver radio, Matthew wasn't too happy about that block that Scott put on down the front straightaway. But, you know, when you're racing for points in the playoffs, you kind of got to do what you got to do. But at the mercy of the driver you're doing it to. So, and if something goes around, you got to expect it to possibly come back around.
Yeah, and I think they fully expected Scott to be pretty defensive there, knowing that he's on 2 tires. You know that that's a battle that he's going to be willing to race for.
And he's got to be. I mean, it's really nothing wrong. Obviously, when you're behind the wheel, you're going to be hot under the collar when you get blocked. But, you know, if the roles were reversed and the 11 had the 2 tires on, he's going to do what he's got to do to try and keep the track position all the same.
Yeah, and when somebody blocks, it kind of opens that up, too. As far as, if I hit you when you throw a block, you can't be mad at me. You're making that defensive maneuver. But as you can see, the 90's just holding on right now. Just holding on, hoping to keep some semblance of points here.
Well, and what we see, like we see on our scoring pylon there, the 50 and the 97 are the only 2 drivers in the top 10 not in the playoffs. So right now, every single car that's coming by Scott, he's losing at least a point to playoff drivers. So that's definitely not what he wants to see. He's got to hold on for 4 more laps.
When he got to the bottom here, I don't know if that's good for 2 tires. I think I'd like the top. You can defend better on the top. And now he's gotten trapped on the bottom. Like you mentioned, it's kind of a double whammy because he's given up a point, but he's given a point to red spoilers. That's who just keeps going by him. A red spoiler, red spoiler, red spoiler. So it's kind of a point going 2 ways. It's a point leaving him and going to another guy. You see RC. Oh, Justin's into the wall there as we are 2 to go on the stage, excuse me. Ethan Burrell has called his way back up here to 9th after his issue at the start. I think what happened with RC is he was trying to give the 5 the spot, knowing that the 5's in the playoffs, and he checked up a little bit too much, and now you got the 66 trying to take this spot as well. And now we're going to have 1 to go on the stage.
Looking back at the back end of the top 10, Ethan Stanley making a 1-lap ditch effort to try and get this last stage point from Gavin Hibbs.
Yeah, and you got the 10 and the 66 going at it for 4th. Once again, that's a point that counts twice because, well, the 10's going to clear him down in the 3. And the stage is over. It's going to be Weeks, Cutlet, RC. Jared Rexing's going to get 4th at the stage. Tommy Ryan, Fody, Crump, Wadsworth, Burrell, and Hibbs, it looks like, are the stage point earners. Now Justin trying to work on his teammate there, Scott Crump in the 90. And that was a play to win right there. You know, that was a play at Scott Crump taking a shot. One caution. I mean, basically what we realized right there is if they'd have gotten one caution while he was the leader, he would have probably been able to hold on. But once they got to that 4 in a row, 4 tires, just too much for him to hold off.
Yeah, well, now he's probably looking for a caution sooner rather than later to kind of stop the bleeding before he falls out of the top 10. But eventually you got to think that the 2-tire call is going to level off and he's going to be able to, you know, ride around on wherever spot he drops to. Right now, so
right
far,
now,
that 8th place.
Yeah, it looks like he's sitting there, but he's still kind of slower than everybody else. So I don't know that it'll ever level off. I feel like if it was going to level off, we'd start to see it now as the cars start to kind of get tighter. And if it's not going to level off right here in the next lap or two, I think he might just bleed all the way through this run. And you might give consideration here. I know that the window is 90 laps, but you're not going to go all the way to the end. Like, they would have to run just about 90 laps to get to the end. So I would think we're going to see a set of green flag stops if it stays green. Maybe it gets up towards lap 65, 10, 15 more, and you go ahead and you just say, we're going to have to do something different and give yourself time to get all that back because of the lap time fall off. He's, you know, it plays out a lot like if you watch Richmond in real life right now. It's the one track that comes to mind as far as making that extra pit stop is actually faster over the course of a run if it's long enough than it is to stay out here on your old tires. I mean, you're talking about we're already had a second fall off in what, 10, 15 laps. So you're going to fall off 3-4 seconds over the course of a run. So at lap, I really think the magic number is probably 70 to 75. If you're going to try to get all that back and then some, you need to be on pit road no later than lap 75. I'd probably look to be there right in that 70 range. As this field gets single filed out, I do feel like the odds of us getting a caution greatly decrease once these cars tighten up.
Yeah, and we've seen that we'd probably still be running green if it wasn't for that, you know, the final boss battle that we referred to it as earlier, the 15 and the 00. I think that's we saw that, and that's what Scott Crump is probably looking to do. As we see, he's actually not. He's driving away from Ethan a little bit. We've seen, you know, just keep your car in the way and keep your track position that way. But actually, it looks like Scott might be not doing too bad here.
Yeah, you know, all that talk about pitting, I still think I would consider it. I don't, you know, a lot of these guys are going to probably blow tires. If I had to guess, I'm going to go out on a limb and say nobody's going to be able to go to the end without blowing a tire. I don't think there's a single car in this field. They all are within the fuel window by about 3 to 5 laps. They all could. Oh, we're spinning off of 4. The 37's around 95. They get it back straight. Oh, was there some contact? Oh, maybe a little bit. Right in the middle of the corner. Oh, Stanley. Stanley with some front end and rear end damage. That's big playoff implications there for that 91 machine, who's not having a great night running that far back, and now he's going to have some decent damage to the nose of his machine.
Yeah, and right where that damage is, you're going to be worried about the car overheating and having to, you know, back off and try and save the motor from blowing up until you can get it repaired, and that's definitely not good contact for Stanley.
Yeah, not good at all for him right there. And you see Harry backing up, starting to struggle. These guys are really starting to get tight. That's what happened over there, is that it looked like the 37 got a little bit tight. 95 wasn't ready for it. Got into the back of him, and that was that. You see these guys at the front, but that's what I was saying. Do you think anybody's going to be able to make it to the end without blowing a tire?
Yeah, no, as tight as it seems everybody will get over the course of a run, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and just in the last 5 laps, they've fallen off another half a second. So, I mean, we're seeing quite a bit of fall off. I stand by what I said. I want to be on pit road at about lap 70, 75. That way I give myself the time to make it all back up and then some. I beat everybody else to pit road, because this is a place where I feel like you want to beat people to pit road, not necessarily the other way around. This is, you know, if you beat everybody to pit road, if you pit on lap 70 and everybody waits to lap 75, you're going to be running in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 seconds a lap quicker for 5 laps, and you're not going to bleed that off at the end because there's not enough time left in the race.
Yeah, the only drawback to, you know, pitting a little bit earlier is, you know, being one of those playoff guys and getting caught a lap down and not having enough time to recover from it. But the positive side is if you don't get that caution and you do pit a couple laps earlier, you are going to be, like you said, a couple seconds faster. And potentially if you're the back end of the top 10 and you pit early, you might be able to assume the lead. And, you know, hope it works out that way.
Yeah, and it's a risk, right? It's a heavy risk to pit that early, and this is one of those tracks where the pace is going to be so different. You got to be careful as the guy on tires, because you're going to catch people at such a rapid rate. It is going to be a very rapid rate of catching people here, and so you've got to be careful because they're not going to see you coming. You're going to be 10 car lengths back on a corner entry, and then you're all of a sudden going to be on top of them, and they're not going to recognize that you're coming, and you could run into the back of a guy. Taking a look here at this battle behind Ethan Stanley. Josh Labonte right there. I don't know what happened between him and the 20, but the 20s wasn't too thrilled about it. You got Tooker right there. You got the 9 right there. Like I said, I think this is the most pace Josh Labonte's had all season. He's been out here in the way a lot this season, and now he's got some decent pace, especially on a long run. As he works to try to get around Stanley here.
That's kind of exactly what we saw earlier in the race. Ethan Stanley's got the damage. We saw that contact happen right around that car, and now there's the gap, and everybody's struggling to get around that 91, and they're all stacked up behind him.
And he's got to race hard. You know, he's a playoff guy. He's got to be aggressive here, trying to keep the spot. He's defending on the top. He's got the 9 up there. You got Tooker on the bottom. We saw Tooker and Josh were really good on the long run the first run. Ooh, the 9 maybe into the wall just a little bit. I think if I was going to be pitting under green, this is the neighborhood I'd be doing it in. Like you said, it would be quite the risk because there's only about 40 laps or so on the tires. 30 laps maybe.
Yeah, but the part about doing it now is you want to do it soon enough to be able to eventually make the ground up, whether you have to do it just by running around to get your lap back or running the entire green flag and eventually assuming the lead, or you know, better your track position that way. Yeah,
you want to do it soon enough to be able to take advantage of it, and if you wait too long, like if they split this right in half, it's, you know, then you're in that box. We'll have to see how this works out. Stanley all of a sudden is losing a bunch of ground. I don't know if he got shucked to the bottom or what. As you can see here, Stanley's given up a lot of ground here, just trying to survive. I wonder if that thing's gotten hot. You mentioned the overheating issue. I wonder if he is now went into make it live mode, knowing he can't afford to blow it up.
I think that's what we saw. I just went back and watched the lap that he let the 9 around the outside, and he just went straight to the bottom, and an entire line of cars went around him. So I do think he probably is in engine temp conservation mode for sure.
Yeah, and that's not something That's not something that's going to last very long if we don't get a caution. So we'll see how this works out for him. As you can see, Weeks, Cutlip, Rexing, RC, Wadsworth, Ryan, Fody, Crump, Green, and Hunter Smith are now the top 10. And I just heard Ethan Stanley say it is overheating. So that thing is just, he's just trying not to make it grenade. Heading down here for off of turn number 2 there between this 20 and, I'm not sure who he's racing, the 06. Is that Evans? Zach Evans. We heard from Zach last week. Having a better night tonight.
The unfortunate part about the Ethan Stanley situation right now, having a bad night, if there's not a caution or pit stop to get that damage repaired to where he can rebound, unfortunately there's not any more road courses in this round, so he's going to have to go the old-fashioned way and get it done on the ovals to better his points after tonight. See a crossover maneuver there from Zach Evans on Higgins to try and get that spot back.
Yeah, and I think, Weeks sitting out there, Cutlip, Rexing, RC, Wadsworth. A lot of guys sitting out here. And I believe we are going to get some pit stops here soon. I believe that Josh Labonte might be visiting pit road. Here he comes down there off of turn 4. I like the call. I think it's a great call. Maybe a little bit later than I would have liked to have seen, but I still think being the first guy is going to be a positive.
Yeah, I think old Labonte there ran his tires off trying to pass Stanley. So we saw him that entire first run right with David Tooker, and Tooker put quite a bit of ground on Josh as he got past him. So this is a situation where Josh knew his tires weren't hanging on this run, so he figured he'd do something different.
Yeah, and he's only going to lose 1 lap, right? So we'll have to see the lap times. Like right now, let's just compare him to Matthew Weeks, the leader, who is running a 26 flat. Was Weeks' last lap time, was 26 flat. And his best lap time was, what, 24 or something? 24.4. So let's see what Josh can do his very first lap out here on the racetrack and see what the benefit is going to look like. Clear track, he's going to be able to run pretty hard. I imagine this is going to be down in that 24-second. This is probably going to be Josh's fastest lap of the race if he hits his marks. Let's see here. What are we looking at? 24.707. So right there, mid-24s. The speed is there. He's got 40 laps. If these guys try to make it live, I would be shocked if they tried to make it live. But back up to the front, you still got, and you see here, he's catching the 30 now. Just blowing his doors off. As you see, Fody, we got Hanshaw down there slowing the apron.
Yeah, that 30 CTG, Connor Thompson has had quite the night. Started right from the drop of the green flag, where he wishes he could have that start back. But unfortunately, hasn't been the night he wanted.
Yeah, you want to have a good night, not a bad night, but some nights you just can't figure it out, can't get it going the way you need to. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how this pit strategy shakes out. Right now, the battle is at, I think, 4th place. You got RC, you got Jared, you got Tyler Fody.
I think if if David took Rabbit, we're pretty late in the going now, but if he could ever get some track position up towards the top 5, he might be a driver to look out for, because he's making his way close to the top 10, and we've seen him have some really good speed at the back end of these runs. Just probably not going to have enough race to come from last.
Yeah, and Tooker, like you mentioned, he got held up there at the start of the race. That first run behind the final boss battle that we talked about. And he had to make that work. Right now, Weeks is out front by about half a second over Cutlet. You got Rexing back there. You got RC back there. We are seeing some other pit stops take place right now, I believe. It's Seth Rawls on pit road. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor tonight as well. This is the GoldenBrew 125. And their sponsor, join us as we explore and discover the ultimate GoldenBrew experience tailored just for you. So, everybody go check out GoldenBrew. I don't drink anything like that. Do you, Jake? Do you have any kind of coffee or coffee substitute?
No, I'm not much for coffee myself, but hey, if GoldenBrew wants to throw something my way, I'd give it a try.
One thing I am interested in right now, though, is how this is going to shake out. I think we are into that spot where guys are starting to really struggle on tires. Like, these lap times have fallen off for most of the field at a high rate right here. Like, these guys are really starting to struggle.
See some smoke down there at pit entry. So that was, is that Seth Rawls? I believe that was Seth Rawls took a drive through the grass.
Ooh, that is not ideal. And the 66 is the first playoff guy to blink. 66 coming on pit road.
I was going to say, all the work that this ownership from Rockingham put in to get the track back in racing order, you would have thought they would have had the grass cut before we got here tonight.
Hey, they've been busy. They had to get some new catch fence up, had to lay some new pavement out here. They've been working hard. So, I think Josh Labonte is in the driver's seat right now.
That's where we're sending the back of RC.
As we start to go through these pit stops, the 23 is coming off of turn 2. The 66 still on pit road, just now getting the pit exit. So the 66 blends off of turn 2 right now, and the 23 is coming off of 4. So right now, I believe Josh is in the driver's seat of anybody who pits, and I think he's going to get to a lot of guys if they choose not to pit. I still am of the belief that a lot of these guys are going to blow right front tires before the end of this thing if they try to not pit.
Yeah, right now we're seeing just how willing they are to go without making that pit stop so far. So they've went about 20 laps past when Chris, you had predicted they probably should start pitting. And we'll see if that means that they don't have any plans to pit at all.
Yeah, and I think not pitting, like I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of these guys running down in the mid 26s now, and that's part of the reason we wanted to pit so soon. We didn't, a lot of people, the rule of thumb on iRacing is you want to kind of split it up if you can, but you wanted to give yourself time in case anybody got lucky and tried to make it, wanted to make it. You wanted to give yourself that out, but at the same time, you wanted to be able to be the first guy to pit road. So we will see what these guys are deciding to do out here very shortly. Ethan Stanley's about to get lapped. Big playoff implications there, trying to make his car live.
Yeah, not the start of the round for the 91.
Yeah, not at all the night that he wanted to have in his machine.
once he decided that he had the damage and needed to save his motor, you maybe would have thought maybe he could be one of the ones that would come down and put some tires on, but see if he can't change his fortune that way. But then again, increased speeds with fresh tires, he probably would have blown up just that much quicker.
Yeah, I think he was just looking for a caution. That was going to be his need, was a caution, because he knows he needs to fix the damage. New tires are not going to fix his damage. And so he's just holding out hope out here. But I think that hope is about to diminish into nothing as he is about to get lapped. So here we are. We're down to this. We are quickly approaching 25 to go. I feel like a lot of these guys have made their bed. Gavin Higgins just called out that he's going to be pitting.
Right now, I think anybody that's pitting right now, I think Josh has pitted early enough to where he's going to have enough of a gap on these guys that I don't know that they're really even going to catch him back.
Yeah.
Outside of
I
the top 5, the leaders and whatnot, but anybody that pits towards the back end of the top 10, like Crump that's 6 seconds back, Tooker, Smith, Kaner, that are all about 10 seconds off the lead, I don't know that all those guys would catch Josh if they were all to decide to pit.
I think anybody who's pitting right now, anywhere on the lead lap, the leader back, I don't care if you are the leader. You're not catching Josh back. I think you've let him sit out here too long. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's pitted, 20 laps ago at this point. You're not getting back to him. I think the 66, that might be close. But
when was the last time, Chris, that Terry Labonte did something like this and won a race?
I believe the 2003
after his prime.
2003 Southern 500. Terry took him to the woodshed at a high tire wear track out at Darlington. There's a lot of wrecks out there, took out a lot of the heavy hitters, but Terry was nonetheless really good at Darlington, really good that day. And so he had one final hurrah. Now, of course, Josh Adams is hoping it's not a one final hurrah if this does work out for him. But nonetheless, he's put himself in a spot here where he is going to have a chance at this thing here later in this race. I mean, you can see the 20 is a lap behind him with 21 to go. So
this big stack up here by Frank Fody. RC had to come all the way out of the gas. That could have been a caution right there.
I am very curious
in the way.
How these guys are going. The 66, I think, is going to get to Josh, like I mentioned. But I don't think it's going to be tough for anybody else to get there. And if these guys were not cognizant of what they might have had to do, if they didn't take off and save it, you had to be saving this whole run if you think at all you're going to have a shot to get that right front to the end of this thing.
See Josh coming around to get his lap
Rexing's
back right
around.
here.
We're wrecking on the front stretch. Jared Rexing. And that kills the whole strategy. The 10 hits the wall. Oh. Gets into the wall here. Shoots him back. Spins him out. Now we're going to get 4 tires. We're going to get whatever fuel you might need. And the lucky dog is going to be the 23, so the 66 is going to have to take a wave here, and that's a playoff guy, so that really didn't work out for him. They're going to come down pit road.
And now they're going to restart right around 15 laps to go. 15 laps to go at a track that's a mile. We've only had, what, 3 cautions? You know, unfortunately, we can probably fit 3 or 4 more in this little block here of the race. So hopefully they take care of each other here for the final 15.
But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a great race here. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, now there's no tire saving. All the guys that we have seen that have possibly cut their pace to save tires, you can't do that anymore. It's going to be, you know, by the time we get going here, about 15 laps, 15 qualifying laps to get to the end of this race, and you're going to see who comes out and wins it.
Are we getting one to go already? Not yet. We are still pacing.
I believe the other pace car lights are off. The field just got waved around, so they should be coming to green this time.
And it looks like Weeks has also picked the top here. We got Weeks, Cutlip, Fody, Wadsworth, RC. We've got Ethan Stanley take the wave. He still did not fix his damage. Green flag is out. Three wide, RC with a big dive underneath Tyler Fody down into 1. The battle is on. And here we go, the 5, the 11, teammate versus teammate. Scott Crump, a couple Lake Norman teammates there with Wadsworth right behind as well. Wadsworth gets into the wall. RC head heavy into the wall there off of turn 4.
Yeah, there's a product of being 3 wide coming out of turn 4. It's not the place you want to be, but luckily RC stayed up out of the way and let it stay green.
How great for Rexing to be the caution that you need and still be in the top 6.
Right, yeah, I don't think he lost a single position. We talk about him when he hits the wall off turn 4. He might have lost 1 spot with that self-spin.
Yeah, and it was the caution that saved all those guys, so there's a lot of people probably going to line up and say, hey man, great job out there tonight. But right now, Weeks is sitting out here pulling away from Cutlip, who's pulling away from Wadsworth, and then the battle is on behind him between Crump and Tooker and Jared Rexing trying to join that battle. Rexing big run off of 2. He's going to take a look here underneath Tooker. These front guys just kind of sitting out here. Oh, Wadsworth's going to get into the wall. Crump's into the wall. The 19, they all hit the wall. 3rd, 4th, 5th just hit the wall. These boys are digging out here. You know, we haven't talked about one half of the final boss in a while, but Chad Frankfield's up here in the top 8. He's just took 8th place. Battling for 8th place. Hunter Smith right there. Inside of 10 to go here at Rockingham. And there it is. Chad in a race with that 97, with the 50, the 54, the 37. Ethan Burrell, every time he's gotten track position tonight, he's tried to give it up. So now he's hoping to get some back. Oh, he's going to get loose, get down into the 9. And now he's on the top of 3 off of 4. Still real tight. I mentioned that he's tried to give up that track position every time he's had it. Well, there he goes. He just gave a couple, 5 guys there, 4 guys, a free pass.
Yeah, and those are the kind of situations that Ethan Stanley wants to see run around at 26th, even though that may only be 4, 5, 6 spots that Ethan had to give up if he doesn't get them back. That's 5 or 6 points that Stanley doesn't have to make up in the next 2 weeks over somebody.
Yeah, and I think what Stanley wants to see, he took the wave there, is Stanley wants to see a yellow to fix his damage and to get new tires on that thing.
Well, and maybe 5 or 6 guys to have race-ending damage. You don't got to make any passes. There's Zach Evans hard in the wall in front of Jeff Green there.
These guys are out here driving as hard as they can. The tires are starting to give up a little bit. I do think a lot of the field has a set left. Only a handful of guys have nothing left in the pits. Oh, the 50 squeezes that 54. Oh, contacted Zach Evans going around off the nose of Jeff Green. He's going to bring Jeff Green around, and we are going to get that late yellow. We're going to get all kinds of crazy tire strategies. People are going to stay out. People are going to get 4. This is set up to be not our last caution based on all the strategies I'm running through my head that somebody's going to pull.
Well, and it was just Jonathan Cutlip had pulled right back to the back bumper of Matthew Weeks.
Ooh, Zach Evans is going to get the wall, come off the wall, get down into the Jeff Green machine. And it's going to flip him around so hard, Jeff's going to get sucked into it as well. What are you doing here, Jake? I almost called you Josh.
Yeah, well, if I've got tires left, I'm probably going to use them. If I'm Matthew Weeks or John Cutlip, I'm probably staying on the front row right there. But if I'm,
I think they're coming. I think we're going to see most of them come.
If I'm anybody but at the back of the top 10, I'm coming for sure.
Everybody with the old fakearoo. But a lot of guys on back. I mean, where is that cutoff? Is that cutoff Ethan Burrell pitted? I think he's the first one. So it's about half and half. So it's going to be exciting to watch those guys come through this field. Well, what do you like here, Jake?
Yeah, there's not going to be enough laps for the guys that pitted to come up and win the race. So I like where Matthew Weeks is at.
We might get to line up and do this a couple times.
Yeah, there's always the possibility.
A good restart through turn 1 and 2, like let's say Ethan Burrell can get 6 guys in turn 1 and 2, which is not out of the realm of possibility with how much fresher his tires are going to be. And then you get the caution, and all of a sudden he goes from restarting 15th to 9th. I mean, this could get exciting.
Yeah, there's always the possibility. I still like the position Matthew Weeks is in, being able to be the leader, choose when I take off, and get away from those guys, and just hope there's not a caution. So we've talked about Matthew Weeks. He won last round when he needed to get himself locked into this round, and he's back right in the same situation to lock himself in race 1 and not really have to worry about race 2 and 3.
And here's what I'm going to say too. This is another thing. I think we're going to get a big wreck on the restart. Tires are going to spin. We're on old tires. Everybody's trying to get going. Somebody on these old tires are going to light their wheels up, and it's going to be a big wreck that everybody has to miss. That's what I think. And this is a regulation green white checkered, so we're not even into our 3 attempts yet. So we could do this 4 times.
We can do it 4 times.
That's right. Here we go. Green is out.
So far, so good.
Yeah, not a whole lot of wheel
spin. A great jump.
Oh, Chad
Oh,
Frankenfield's
15's
around.
going around.
Contact with the 90. Chad's still going around. Oh, big wreck, and it's the guys that
Oh,
got
there's
tires.
going to be the yellow.
Oh, man. Absolute chaos. Who didn't see that coming? So we're going to take off here, down into turn 1. Oh, Chad trying to squeeze in the middle 3. 97 didn't know it. One came up, one came down, and contact happened. Then they had it saved. I thought we were going to be okay, and then Chad gets sideways again. Oh, the 97 spinning up here too. You're going to see there's Josh Labonte trying to squeeze through. He just squeezes through. The 24 cannot make it. The 37 makes it right there, but the 66 does not. Joe Francis spins out as a playoff guy, trying to avoid it. Now the 95 spun up there too, but he looks like he's back going straight. They're still spinning right there. But I think what caused all that was you had one guy going down, one guy trying to make a move. You know, Chad was trying to go in the middle 3. The 97 was just opening up his entry, and they just came together. That's what I thought, looking at it. Yeah, you got the 97. He's not really in a hurry to get to the bottom because of what's going on in front of him, so he's opening up his entry a little bit. And the 15, he's seeing spots. He's trying to go through the middle 3 wide, and just not quite enough room there. They just came together. But we do have Ethan Burrell, only gained a row there, but he did not damage his race car. Weeks is out there, but now it's Wadsworth starting beside him with Cutlet behind him. Got Crump going to be in 4th. David Tooker in 5th. Fody, Rexing, RC, Jay. Actually, did RC pit right there and get tires? RC might be the first guy on tires. No. Yeah, so it's going to be Burrell in 4th. So Burrell didn't quite gain the spots he wanted to gain there, but he's probably happy that he missed the accident, if I had to guess. Weeks is going to take the bottom here on the start. Wadsworth right there on the outside. Wadsworth knows that.
We did call that, real quick before we get back going green here, we did call that a racing incident. Kind of agreed with your assessment, Chris, as you were walking the viewers through, and just two guys kind of going for the same move, and they just kind of met in the middle.
Yeah, and in restarts on old tires, you're going to have that, you know. It's part of it. But what I'm interested in right here, the 6 knows that this is his playoff life. He's the last guy on the grid, and he might be the first guy to lock in if he can get a good restart. But Weeks takes him to school, says, let me show you how to do it. And the 5's going to get pulled through.
Yeah, that's always the most difficult thing to do on iRacing, is to line up second place on these restarts, because even if you blip just a mile per hour quicker than the leader, it gets you almost every time. So kind of no man's land when you're in a must-win situation like Wadsworth. The leader really has all the advantage, which, I mean, they should. Ethan Burrell way sideways off 4, but we're going to get to the white flag.
Yeah, we got to the white flag. Oh, contact down into 1. I think the 2's on tires. The 23 didn't. There just wasn't enough room. They're going to make more contact off of turn 2. The 2's going to save it, but the battle.
David Tooker spinning into 3, saved it.
But it's going to be Matthew Weeks locking into the championship race over Cutlet. Wadsworth is going to get 3rd. Reckon behind him coming across the line between Campbell and Burrell. Scott Crump 4th, Fody, Rexing, RC, Jay Canor, David Tooker, Gavin Hibbs. And Tooker he's pretty hot. Hale's going to... Oh, we're wrecking on the backstretch here. I don't know what's going on the backstretch. I don't know if somebody was mad at somebody or just an accidental turn. I know that there is some frustrated drivers. But Hunter Smith, Josh Labonte, Seth Rawls, Gavin Higgins, Ethan Stanley rebounds to 16th. Ethan Burrell was the first guy on tires, and he is going to finish 21st. I am not sure if we have it, but could we take a look at what happened to Burrell there off of turn 4?
Yeah, Gerald Campbell got in the wall, and unfortunately Ethan was just there.
So here we go. There you see the contact between those two. We get down here, and after this we can look at what happened to the 19 up there too, because he's pretty hot. Let's see here. So this is going on for about 12th or 13th. Ooh, Campbell gets into the wall like you mentioned. He's going to come down and get to 37. So this costs Ethan about 8 spots. And so that was about 8 spots lost for Ethan Burrell, which could be pivotal in his playoff hopes. And now down into 3 on the last lap. Here we go. The 90 is going to take a big look here to the inside, looking for 3 wide. They're going to make some contact. Way before they get to the corner, they're making contact. And that gets the 19 sideways. I'll tell you what, David Tooker did a great job keeping that thing off of Wadsworth.
Yeah, and he mentioned that too on the race chat. He almost, Crump almost wiped him out, but it almost ended his teammate.
And that's going to bleed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots at the line for Tooker. So, I mean, just hard racing, trying to be defensive, trying to run hard. Nonetheless, it was a great finish. We're going to get in one more commercial break here, get our guys ready to be interviewed, and then we'll go on and talk about what's coming later this week. So stick with us. We're going to talk to Weeks, Cutlip, and Wadsworth on the other side of this break.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to WWTRaceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where I am standing here with our 3rd place finisher. Came into tonight as the last guy on the playoff grid, had a good night. You know, maybe go practice those restarts a little bit, give yourself a chance to win that thing at the end. But Justin, take us through your night, how you avoided all the chaos, managed your tires, and ended up here on the podium.
Just tried to get the track position early. I knew I was fast from practice, just didn't get the qualifying that I wanted. I mean, the track is tough, so you're just trying to manage the tire, but also you want to get that track position in case there are a bunch of cautions. And then I was able to drive up through the field a little bit. And it was tough on the restarts to really get going, especially with Weeks. You know, he's one of the best in the league. So just didn't get the restart I wanted at the end there, but I was probably in 3rd if Cutlip didn't do the same thing in the restart before. So to come on with the top 3, especially when I need the points. So good night overall for Justin.
That's right. Great night for Justin. But I'll take me back to down there in the 3 on the last lap. You're thinking you're going to get 3rd. Some contact happens. Were you thinking you were going to see the outside wall and give up all those points tonight?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I saw my life flash before my eyes there. Didn't get the run I wanted off of 2 there. It's super bumpy. I had to lift on exit, so Tooker's right next to me, and Crump got a run, and I didn't know if he was sticking it in there or not. And I saw Tooker get sideways there going into 3, and I thought it was over from there. But amazing save by Tooker. I actually messaged him after the race. I can't believe he saved it. Ended up saving my race too. So happy he's got good hands.
And tell me what your outlook is here as we go to, I believe, Kentucky next week. And what does your playoff look like now with this great run? Some guys had trouble, of course, one of them being your teammate, so a little bit of a frustrating night over there for Stanley. But take us through what you're thinking here, as we have just a couple races left to race your way into a title, and of course Matthew Weeks is already locked in, so there's only 3 spots available.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are really good, so it's tough. It's tough to make up points when we're all finishing up front, unless they have a bad night where they get wrecked or something like that. But yeah, just gonna try and keep doing what I'm doing, finish top 5s, get those stage points. I do like Kentucky. Got my first Cup win there last season, and this season I got taken out in the first few laps, so really get to see what I could do. So Kentucky's a good track for me. Michigan's okay. So yeah, just hopefully have some good points days the next couple weeks, and see if it locks us in.
Well, all right, Justin, before we let you jump out of here and go and look at what you need to do, looking at that final point rundown and whatnot, who helps get you to the track week in, week out over here?
Shout out to the family, mom, dad, girlfriend Jill. Shout out to you guys. You guys do an awesome job. I always enjoy watching the broadcast back. Shout out to Chad and everybody behind the scenes too. I know there's a lot to organize, all these leagues, so many nights a week, but I have a blast doing it. So shout out to you guys. And then lastly, shout out to St. Jude's. Children's Cancer Research. I threw their sponsor in my car. My work will match dollar for dollar any donations I make. So at the end of the season, I'm going to donate all of my winnings, and then also going to do a charity race for the last race of the Cup season in the championship. And we'll be putting up a link for that. So yeah, definitely donate to St. Jude's. It's a great cause. And yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I got a question here to piggyback off of that. When you put that link out, where can people find that link to go and be part of that?
I'm gonna put that in the Elite Discord, probably in the Cup side, and then also the Xfinity side. And I'll probably do it with about 2 weeks until the race. And then if anybody's got any ideas, I'm thinking about throwing in some money for whoever finishes first that race, gets a little bit of an extra purse. And then yeah, just gonna donate all that and get matched. And hopefully a lot of the guys are willing to donate to the cause.
All right, and I have Chad's here. We'll make sure to post that on the Elite Twitter as well when you get all that figured out and you get it posted. That will show up on the Elite Twitter as well. We'll make sure Chad gets that out there and for everybody to see who wants to be part of it, wants to watch it, whatever. We'll figure all that out. But congrats on the run, Justin. Hopefully your playoffs can keep moving forward. You move off the bottom of that playoff tier this week and see what you can do next week at Kentucky.
All right, I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, guys.
All right, I am also going to run way over here. And I'm going to grab John Cotlip right here. John, you had a great night. You kind of got snookered on a restart, but then it broke back even. We just talked to Justin about it. Take us through your night, how you managed to stay up there and 1-2 all night long and avoid the chaos that was going on right behind you guys at times. So talk to us about your night.
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful. Not too much to say about it. Just ended up holding track position the entire race, but yeah. Can't really say that I was doing much, just trying to protect the right front the entire time and able to come away with second.
Now take me back to, what was it, I guess about 20-25 to go. There's pit stops. We're in the middle of green flag stops. A lot of guys were talking about, we were talking about it up here that we didn't think anybody was going to go all the way on that run because we didn't think they could because of the tire. And some guys were even talking about being a lap or two short on fuel. So were you going to go to the end right there? Did you have the ability on the tires and the fuel to do it? And if not, when were you looking at pitting?
Yeah, me and Weeks were both good on gas and tire. It's just one of those tracks where it's just so tight. You just have to manage the right front the entire time. And we were looking good to make it to the end and just race it out. But unfortunately, we got another caution late in the race and just turned into restarts.
Well, as you know, you guys are out here battling for that championship out here, trying to get in to be one of those 4. Well, now it's down to 3. There's only 3 available spots. There's a lot of guys now that, we kind of had a shoe in, Weeks being one of them, but there was about, anybody in the group, it really wouldn't have been a surprise. We had Wadsworth at the bottom of the playoff line coming in here, and of course he was the Cup champion. So anybody, getting in would not have been a surprise. But what does this do to your mindset now, knowing Weeks is locked in, knowing that, Stanley had a rough night tonight, so you made up a lot of points, so that cut line's going to get really tight after this race. With 2 races to go, how do you manage these next 2 races? Do you feel like you've got to win, or do you feel like top 5s can get it done?
It doesn't change it at all. Like, I've just been racing and just Trying to have a good time. I'm not even sure what track we're going into next. I think it's Kentucky, but that's probably going to be another track position battle and just protect the right front. And then I'm not sure what's after that, but as far as mindset and having to win, not really. It's kind of just like see where we go and how we end up.
All right, John, real quick before we let you jump out of here, get prepared for Kentucky. Who helps get you to the racetrack week in, week out here?
Shout out to Race EPI. Great open team, great with setups and driver coaching. Shout out to Michael Frisch. He's really fast here and was giving me some tips and pointers for this track. Unfortunately, a lot of it didn't really carry over to tonight, but still, like some of the stuff he was mentioning worked out. Shout out to my teammate RC. He was really quick tonight. Finished 7th. He was up there all night. Probably should have finished 3rd, but still a really good dude, fast driver. Shout out to you guys here at Elite, Dave, Chris, and Jacob, putting on the broadcasts every week. Something to look back on. It's always fun to look through the races and see what was going on. And yeah, shout out to my mom. She was enjoying the race, hopefully. Shout out to all our family that tune in week in and week out.
All right, John, we will let you jump out of here. Get prepared for Kentucky. Good luck next week. We can't wait to see the final 3 spots get clinched, and hopefully you're one of them who gets to go out there and battle for a title.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
All right, Jake, you got to run all the way down to Victory Lane. Looks like you got some Gatorade on you, but I believe you're standing by with Matthew Weeks.
Yeah, I'm here in Victory Lane with Matthew Weeks. Matthew, it's your 3rd win on the season. It's probably the most important win on the season as it locks you into the championship race at Iowa. So go ahead and real quick take us through your night tonight, and then your outlook for Iowa.
Well, my night was pretty good. I didn't expect to be as fast as I was, but I could say I ran a league race here probably like 3-4 weeks ago in an Xfinity car, so I guess I have a little advantage there with more laps here recently, but it was mostly John. I was so focused tonight on John, I really didn't pay attention to no one else. He seemed to be so quick. It looked like we were the best cars, and I'm glad we was able to get some runs, and it just seemed like, John would have the first 20 or 25 laps handled, and then I would be able to pass him, and it's like I was telling Wadsworth, it's like I would let him go early in the run, and then once he noticed my tires were a little better, or he was trying to save more than me later in the run, he would let me go. So we was just trying to, I guess, work that out. We was working well, and then it sucks we had cautions. I was hoping that John and I were going to battle it out on the long run. I feel like we're some of the best on the, the tires saving stuff. So I really wanted to race him hard for that one.
Yeah, that first couple of runs of the race, it really seemed like it was going to be a long run race, and it was going to come down to you two. Like you said, you thought you two had the fastest cars. I would agree, and ultimately it came out to where I think the fastest car won the race. So it was good to see that. You have been the king of the first race of the round. Last round, I believe you won the first race. You won the first race of the round this week. The next round is just the one race. You only have one race to go out and win. Do you think you're going to be able to get that one done?
It's going to be hard. Iowa's like one of my weakest ovals. I know I've won here before in the Xfinity Series and Elite, but that was like a different package with the Xfinity car and everything, and I just haven't really found the speed there yet. But we're going to work on it. It's cool to win the first round of the first race of each round. Like I said, to you guys a couple weeks ago when I won Nashville, man. Last season, I think I won 3 regular season races, and I got knocked the first round. So, like, that was my mission coming back this season, was to make this championship race, the championship round and all that, just because of what happened last season. So I'm glad I was able to do it, and I'm gonna have to put some time in. I'll have to figure out Iowa before we get there, because I wanna win this thing.
Yeah, well, now you've got 3 weeks to figure it out. I'm sure you're still going to practice for the next 2 races, but eyes set on Iowa for sure. So great job here tonight. And go ahead and get your sponsor shout-outs and whatnot out of the way.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't practice for this. I just show up and race these things. So shout out to Betty, who watches over there. Ethan, she's a big Pro Edge fan. some of the boys didn't have a really strong run tonight. I know Ethan got really loose on the co-tires early in the race and couldn't rebound. Tucker showed up late, drove from the back to the front. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to John for racing me clean tonight and have us, good buddies racing hard there for the win. And it sucks we didn't get the long run. I wanted that because it's been like the pit stop mess up at Nashville messed us up racing hard, and then there's been other races where something has just messed it up where we couldn't battle it out for the win. So always huge shout out to John there, racing clean and always fast. You guys up in the booth, Chad who runs the league, everyone that watches, all the sponsors that helped this thing go around and help us, give us a little motivation to do what we do here in the playoffs to make a little extra money here. So shout out to everyone that does that, and we're gonna try to sweep the round. That'd be cool.
Well, we'll be looking forward
and
to.
I always forget Justin Vandermeer, JV Designs. Hit my buddy up. You get some of the best schemes, and my buddy, John Cutlip at JD Designs, 2 best painters on the sim. Make sure y'all hit them up.
Yeah, nice saving yourself right there, getting those shout outs out of the way. You don't want to show it blank next week.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, that's Matthew Weeks. He's punched his ticket to the championship race.
Yeah, and just to put a bow there on it, so Weeks locks in. That puts Cutlip above the cut line, Fody, and Crump. Right now, those are the 4. 2 points over Ethan Stanley. Rexing's just outside the window there. Wadsworth made up some points tonight. He's about 10 out. Burrell is about 20 points or so, give or take a few points there. I'm just quick math trying to give you a neighborhood there. But he's about 20 points outside of the cut line, and Tommy Ryan is about 30 points outside of that cut line. So next week, some guys are hoping to have some great recoveries. Maybe, a couple of these other guys have trouble. I wouldn't say anybody's in a must-win yet, but Tommy Ryan is right there on the edge. He needs a great week next week, and some of these other guys in front of him to have trouble. Ethan Burrell, even I would say if he can't make up some points next week, it might be looking like a must-win for him to get in. So should be an exciting couple weeks here in Kentucky and Michigan. As for the rest of the week here, tomorrow there is no ARCA race. We have no ARCA event tomorrow, but what we do have, and I will be there, I believe it is going to be myself and Carlos, is Carb Day. We are going to have a lot of racing tomorrow night. I don't know exactly when it starts, but I know we're running, 4 races tomorrow night. So that will be live on the Elite Racing Network instead of ARCA. So if you want to tune into the Freedom race there at the Speedway, and then the other 3, I believe, all take place over at the short track, that is tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in to catch all the action from Carb Day, where all of our Indy 500 starters and a few people who didn't. I know Jake didn't quite have the pace there in his piece that he built in the garage out back, but it's always next year, Jake. Go back and tune up on that thing. Maybe you'll make that race next year, but nonetheless, we have that going on tomorrow, Wednesday, Cup Series, playoff race, live in action here on the Elite Racing Network. And then Thursday night will be our Indy 500. It will be a great event. Make sure you tune in, check it out. A lot of guys tried to make that field. It's going to be a very competitive field. It's going to be a heck of a race to watch. And then we'll be back in action again next Sunday for the trucks. Monday night, same cast of characters next week. Jake, myself, Dave will be back with you next week. Shout out to Dave for all he does for the Elite Racing Network. Chad for all the stuff he puts on. It's one of the busiest weeks of the year for Chad here, coming up with Carb Day, the Indy 500. A lot goes into the stuff that we're about to put on this week. So make sure you tune in, give a like, go follow the Twitter. Whatever you got to do to make sure you do not miss any of the Carb Day action or the Indy 500 on Thursday. Shout out to all of our sponsors tonight. You heard from Blue Egg Marketing. We saw Worldwide Technology Raceway. They got a playoff race this year. Get your tickets. Go check it out. If there's a motorsport in America, it's racing over at Worldwide Technology Raceway. GoldenBrew, look them up. Join them as you discover the ultimate GoldenBrew experience tailored just for you. And of course, Mark. We didn't see Mark out here tonight. He's probably somewhere taking some pictures, or at least I didn't see him out here tonight. I'm not sure he was here tonight. We had a smaller field, like 34, 35 cars, but give him a follow on Twitter. Great guy to follow. Chad for all he does. Like I said, it's the busiest week of the year, so it's a lot of fun getting to be a part of this week and a part of some of the stuff going on behind the scenes. And we'll, like I said, same cast of characters next Monday night. Thanks for joining me tonight, Jake, Dave. Hopefully you get to feeling a little better. He's a little under the weather. Went and spent that weekend in Barber. Had a great time. And we'll see you a week from tonight.